Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Everyone has a person in our life that's made a difference. Maybe it was a parent, a neighbor, a teacher. So when people say that your vote doesn't matter, you know that one person can make a difference. That's what voting can do. It provides the power of a single voice to impact people's lives. So this November, use your voice and vote to make a difference. Go to votehq.org to learn how to vote this election season. Paid for by American Independent Radio.
And now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
The Super Bowl host committee is now drawing a distinction on their visiting figures.
Yes, the 1 million has been lowered somewhat.
It's 125,000 out-of-towners might be expected, but
Perhaps.
1 million people are expected to partake in the fun.
And by the way, out-of-towners are defined as outside of a 50-mile radius.
Okay.
That's part of the 125,000 if you're outside of a 50-mile radius. So if you're a guy from Hinckley,
That's Rochester.
who happens to drive, if you're from Rochester and you happen to come up to have dinner, you're a Super Bowl visitor.
Well, hell, if you drive through town, you might be.
I know. I figure for the 1 million people, if you live downtown and take your dog for a walk, you count.
Yeah.
You're a Super Bowl visitor.
Rook today.
Rook went to the food fair.
Toast to the
You're
Super
a
Bowl.
Super Bowl visitor.
Yep, I am.
You might
Where's
have
my
been the
check?
first.
I didn't even have to write a check.
Taste of the Super Bowl. How was it?
It was very good. The biggest disappointment, I must say, though,
Here we go.
Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
The Philly cheesesteak.
He took 4 pages of copious notes.
Wow, good.
The Philly cheesesteak was pulled pork with broccoli. It wasn't a messy.
No, that ain't a Philly
they tried to recreate
cheesesteak
something.
is
It's got to
beef.
be shaved beef.
Yes.
With cheese and a little peppers on it.
It's got to be messy.
And it's also got to be served when you're drunk at 3 a.m.
That's right.
Standing outside Pat or Gino's. And
I told Stephanie Marsh
having
that
a
I
taste
said
test.
I should be wearing half of that right now just
Yes.
by eating it.
Yeah, you can't call that a Philly.
But
If
the rest of it was pretty good.
they're
though.
going to laugh at us if we call that Philly cheesesteak.
Right.
Because it's not. It's got to be very thinly sliced beef.
Yeah, other than that, though, it was a fairly successful food campaign.
Have you ever been to Pat and Gino's, that little corner?
No.
I have.
Out
In Philly?
South Philly.
No.
Yeah, right. South Philly. And they stay open 24 hours.
Wow.
And they're across the street from each other. Pat's and Gino's.
Okay.
And basically eat standing up. And you eat. And they get it particularly busy when the bars close.
Ooh, yeah. You wouldn't want to be wearing a Vikings jersey in the middle of that street corner, huh?
Are they in competition with each other? Or
Yeah,
they have a
the
similar
competition.
ownership?
Competition.
Really?
Yep. That's a big debate.
So then when you're hammered, you have the taste test.
Well, I used to go there, and Wicker would be running the operation, or some of the other Philly guys. You'd go out there at 2 a.m. You'd have a taste test. You'd have one at Pat's, and then you'd have one at Gino's, and you'd take a vote which one you like. And they did this often. I think I only did it once or twice.
Joe, how would you have handled that 2 a.m. taste test for dinner?
Two cheesesteaks,
Yeah.
a pretty good size, I might add.
Boys, I'm about 8 hours too late here at 2 a.m.
You know what I don't like about the cheesesteak, though, that they have the Philly, the real one, is the cheese whiz, basically.
I don't like
Cheese
that.
whiz is
The liquid cheese instead of the
melted
cheese
provolone.
sliced.
You
need sliced, yeah.
provolone, yeah. Once in a while you see it with cheese whiz.
Isn't it provolone?
provolone.
Yeah,
So
so
tell Pat what the AFC meal. See, that was the NFC meal, was the cheesesteak. The AFC meal was
The AFC meal, there's two tribute
consulting his
sandwiches.
notes.
South Philly roast pork sandwich. And here's what it was. Italian roast pork, sauteed broccoli, sharp provolone, and a hoagie roll.
Nobody in Philly has ever eaten that sandwich. It's not a tribute to Philly. They're
Right.
lying, okay?
The AFC tribute was the New England clam roll.
Yes,
kettle
that's
chip
true.
crusted fried clams, house tartar sauce, shredded lettuce on a griddled roll.
And this is
I
the
could
food,
eat that
Pat, you
one.
get at the game. This isn't around town. This is what's going to be
Oh,
sold
this
at the
isn't
game.
for the taste of the NFL
No.
party.
No, this is what's going to be served at U.S. Bank
concessions.
Stadium.
Concessions, okay.
Correct.
All right.
They tell you outside of what section and so forth.
Okay.
But
They're
the best.
gonna, you can't, we can't act like such idiots that we're going to give them pulled pork and call it a Philly steak sandwich.
No,
you
but
can't do that.
the best sandwich out there by far was the braised short rib sandwich. Was off the charts delicious. Pickled red onions were
How did
fabulous.
this fit with the MetaFast program?
Well, I didn't have everything. I tried a lot, but I didn't try everything. And you know what? Your big place, T-Rex Cookies across the street,
Yeah.
salted caramel cookie.
Ooh.
Really good. And then Just Truffles on Grand.
Who's going to go to the Super Bowl and eat a cookie?
These are big.
Who's going to eat a cookie?
Big cookie.
Well, these aren't
Cookies
Nabisco.
don't go good with beer.
But these aren't Nabisco cookies that one would have at 10 o'clock before he goes to bed with
These
a
aren't
small glass of
Hydrox?
milk.
These aren't Hydrox?
These aren't Hydrox. These are quality, made with love cookies right across the street here from us.
Right over here?
Yeah,
Right
but
at Art and Architecture.
I bet I haven't been over in months. I used to go over and get the girls something.
Is that the cupcake place?
Now it's a
The
cookie
cupcake
place.
is gone. Now it's T-Rex.
Cupcakes didn't make it?
No, you got to bring something home to the,
The train
grandkids.
put the cupcakes out of business.
Really?
The train, it's train construction basically put them out of business.
Because I've had their
Because they
cupcakes.
took away all the
delicious.
parking spots,
Yeah.
for one thing. There's no place to park.
Yeah, you can't just roll up there anymore.
You want to be Europe, you pay the price.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Anyway, they're starting to hedge on the million. They're down to 125,000. And by the way,
that was a quick drop. Well, it was like a
There's a-
90%, 85% drop.
I wish I was at the meeting when the geniuses from Mystic Lake and the geniuses from whatever the hell the name of this other
The
company
nomadic thing.
got together and said, we're an hour from the downtown from the Twin Cities. Let's spend $2.4 million building a temporary
Tent or
whatever
structure.
it is, structure for concerts for has-beens who we then will charge ungodly high prices for, and thought that this was going to work.
Well, in fact,
Now they're suing each other.
right. It was going to be Gwen Stefani,
Yeah, she's over there.
the Florida-Georgia line.
Yeah, about a third string.
I don't know.
Country Western.
And who else?
Who
The
else? Let's see.
Chainsmokers or something?
it was the Chainsmokers was one, yes.
Florida Georgia line's pretty popular. They were out at
well, I thought
Target.
Gwen Stefani was still very popular.
Well, I'm trying to overstate it.
I know.
But you're right, though. They were charging way too much money for those tickets.
Plus, are you going to Uber if you're staying anywhere downtown? Are you going to Uber to Mystic Lake?
Right.
It's going to cost even Uber's going to cost you $50 to go out there and back. This is
So
you
it
know.
was thought to be a venue to attract Super Bowl customers.
Yes, it was going to be a fest. They had one of these in Houston, but I don't know how. Well, first of all, they had Taylor Swift in Houston, so
Well,
they could put her in Rochester and people would show up, and Bruno Mars were their two big stars in Houston, so it worked down there. I don't know how far out in the boonies they built it in Houston, though. This is the Boondocks.
Reavers, this event, the musical events on the Nicollet Mall,
Yep.
are those all free to people?
Some are, but some are ticketed as well.
Well, how do you control it?
Well,
You're going to have to have a ticket to be on Nicollet Mall? or-
I'm going to see if I
Some
can
of them
find
are probably ticketed in that Commons Park that isn't so Commons after all.
Did you see some of the ticket prices for some of these so-called pop-up parties? 21 grand to see Snoop Dogg, highest ticket price.
See ya.
21 grand.
I'm not paying it.
I'm not either.
I'm not either.
I'm not.
Well, I got news for you, too. You aren't the target audience.
You know what? We'd have to sell our Fiat stock.
Yes, we
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were laughing at our Fiat stock. It's going through the roof.
Are we back to even money yet?
Oh, no. We're way
wow.
past
Double
that.
our money. Double our money.
Wow.
No.
That's right. And the Catholics haven't even got on the bandwagon.
I was
yet.
going to say, you know what it was? The Pope marrying the two flight attendants. Did that put her over the top?
Maybe.
That
That
could've
didn't,
been.
it didn't hurt. It was good publicity.
Yes, that's true.
Well, now, are we done hearing from Zimmer? Is he done for the... We don't hear from
I
him
think
now
Tuesday,
until...
we probably don't hear from him at the if anybody's covering the Senior Bowl, he'll be down there, and they can get a quote from him down there probably. But for the most part, the coaching staffs go to the Senior Bowl.
I see Judd is advocating or speculating that the die will be cast with Teddy.
I believe him.
Is he still in Philly?
No,
Judd?
he's back.
He
He
is back. Okay.
I got a big argument with Mackey today, though. He kept referring to the home of the Senior Bowl as Mobile.
Well, it's Mobile.
It's Mobile.
Mobile.
For God's sakes. Yeah.
Mobile.
Mobile's your phone. Mobile is.
Mobile's a gas station.
Yes. It's Mobile, man. That was very, very off-putting today.
Just a moment, please. I have one Keenum observation.
Go ahead.
If they cut him loose,
Yes.
I'd be puzzled. Here's why. He went 13-3.
Yes.
You know what he can do. You don't know what Bridgewater can do.
That's true.
That's my only comment.
But the thing is money. If you keep him,
You got to pay him.
if
a
you
big
only
money.
want to go 1 year, you have to pay him like $21 million or something. And plus, deep in his heart, Zim loves Teddy.
Okay.
But I think Zim loves him more for the fact that he's battled back and he's such a good guy and such a smart guy. But that could all backfire if they try to keep Teddy on by saying that there's a rule where they could just make him play for $1 million again next year, which has never been done before. But if they were to do that, all of a sudden the love affair with Teddy would come to an end, and his agent would be firing people.
What's his salary now, Patrick, and what's his speculated salary if we do keep him?
Teddy?
No.
Keenum?
Yeah.
Keenum played for $2 million this year and $21 million if they franchise him to keep him on a 1-year deal.
Okay, so
But if they sign him, they could maybe sign him for $15 million a year for 3 years.
how much extra income do you suppose the Vikings took in by us being in the playoffs?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it's divided up.
Did they generate enough to cover that sort of thing?
Kenny, they generate enough to cover anything they want to. It's the salary cap. No matter what they pay Keenum,
They still have to come in.
still come in under $170 million or whatever it is, and they're making so damn much money. It doesn't make any
They have
sense.
$60 million right now in free money.
Yeah.
When the new
Before they
league
hit
year
the
starts.
cap?
Yeah.
Before the new league year starts, March 14th.
Well, it just seems like good business to keep him around.
That's
doesn't
what
it?
I'm thinking.
Just for the business purposes alone, pay the guy. Pay him now.
Well,
Would he get
be
that with
fine.
another team?
He wouldn't get that franchise money, but he'd probably get 3 years, $45 million or something like that from that team. And I think the only reason the Vikings would franchise him would be to only be committed to him for 1 year while they find out if Teddy's healthy or not.
Here, Jeff has a question for you, Pat. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Pat and Joe?
Hi.
Pat, if you remember, I was a guy that thought you had died.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and,
most of us.
Well, I'm going to be down in Fort Myers, and I thought you were going to still be around there, but I guess you're going to the game, huh?
I am back up here for a couple of weeks. I'll be back for the Fighting Twins, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to miss you then. I was just wondering if you could recommend a good place to eat.
There's all kinds of them. I don't know where are you staying, buddy?
I'm just staying right there by the airport.
Okay.
Take the trip down to Marco Island and go to Sunsets or Joey's Pizza.
No, that's too far.
I don't know if I want to take Rook's. Is that one of Rook's like?
Okay, I'm going to give you one. I don't want to make a habit of this. Fancy's Southern Cafe. Put it in your phone.
Fancy Southern Cafe.
Put it in your phone.
Gotcha.
Nothing in there that won't give you a heart attack. It's great.
Well, that's why you eat there, right?
Yes, that's true.
Patrick, do you have a good dry cleaners down there you can recommend?
Who's off of
I
41?
need some
What do you got?
socks darned.
You know
Fancy's.
what?
Where is this?
There's a dry cleaner right next to the world's best bagel shop.
Oh, well, two
And
right
Fancy's
there.
is a block from there.
Where
And
is
so you can-
Fancy Southern Cafe?
It is right off Daniels near the freeway.
It doesn't sound like it's very. I mean, you're going for the experience. That's why I'm telling the guy, go somewhere other than just Fort Myers.
Hey, can I ask the phone screener a question? Phone screener, you know we're not working in Faribault here, right?
Oh, really? When did that change?
This isn't Trading Post.
You taught me, Kenny, years ago when I started working with you guys. You have one job: sports talk. Hang on.
That
You
is
learn quick.
That is the screening technique. You got me there.
Yeah, I remember I remember when we first started that we said when we first went to sports, about almost the first day we did it, we said, well, we'll take some calls when we come back, and never got anything. I haven't asked for them since.
Never got around.
I haven't asked. Nobody called, so I haven't asked for a call since. The hell with you.
There was a time.
You can't call now.
There was a time when I worked here when if you didn't take calls, you might end up getting fired, and sure enough, we did.
Yeah, but that was Yates' greatest line ever. I don't call you at work. You don't call me at work.
Why were we handed this?
I have Steve Russian on the show today, and I wanted the details.
All right.
So
What do you got there, Joe?
5:30.
He's speaking at the Nativity Sports Shirt Stag Friday night, right?
We are recommending a St. Paul doubleheader. The Ricey Roast at noon at Mancini's for the Minutemen.
Right.
And then tickets to the public, by the way, MinnesotaMinutemen.com.
That's easy.
And then you go to the Nativity.
Nativity Sports Shirt Stag. It's
Do we
on.
still call it a stag?
Yeah,
Did
1900
they let
Wellesley
gals
Avenue.
in or not?
What's that?
Did they let gals in or not?
There have been gals. There was a couple of gals when Joe spoke, when the Garage Logic crew was there.
Okay.
That was fun.
But there's it's a kind of a donation of a stipend, maybe $10, something like
That
that.
place is busy. You guys are doing something every night there.
Yeah,
They're
which
doing a
is
lot.
my bone of contention with the Catholic Church.
What's that?
Just bill me at the beginning of the year. Just leave me alone.
It's a billing thing with you. Oh, it's not a praise thing.
No.
Or studying the Bible. No, okay.
Doors open at 6. Prayer and supper at 6:45. Announcements at 7:15.
Like
The greatest,
like
Speaker at
Amazon
7:30.
Prime, he wants one bill a
Just give me a
year.
bill.
the greatest.
Don't tell me
event-
to go to a bleeping fish fry.
Don't use that language.
It was the Nativity Men's Club that was the greatest moment of my journalistic career when Sonmore and I were the main speakers at the Rathskeller down in the Schmidt Brewery, and hard to believe, but I showed up more sober than Glenn.
Yeah.
And I talked first, and Glenn comes out and says, you know what I've always said about hockey? If you can't bleep, you can't fight. And there's about 4 Monsignors in the front row. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Oh, yikes. They quickly moved it back to school.
Wow.
It was fantastic.
Nothing was better than Louis Nanny, though, when he just I don't
A
know.
few dirty jokes.
You started this story the other day.
Okay.
You're going to have to
But
background me on
we got
this.
Brucey
Well,
coming.
just 10 seconds. He was one of these Sports Shirt Stag speakers. And
For this event that's
for this
coming up.
event that's
Okay.
in the basement of the school in the cafeteria
Yeah.
where there's brats and great eats and all sorts of stuff and beer flowing
So
freely.
you're in the holy house itself.
Yep. So did you? And then we got both priests there. So did you hear the one about the nun walking into the bar? And it was just
Did somebody run from side stage and just tackle him?
no. We let him go, and I'm the MC, and so I'm sitting side stage like that, going. No, Louis, no, and he doesn't. He's not looking at me.
You know what, though? They didn't mind.
They didn't mind.
They
It
didn't
was
mind.
Louis
jokes
was
are always
charmingly vulgar.
Yeah. We'll be back shortly. Here's John Haidt
Thank you, Joe. It's cloudy and 26 degrees. New Baseball Hall of Fame inductees will be named today. That happens during the 5 o'clock hour, our time. Looks like one fellow with Twins ties, Jim Thome, will pretty much be a lock to be inducted. And of course,
he and Chipper are the two locks, right?
They're also saying most of the, quote, experts that Vlad probably will.
Doesn't matter whose uniform you'd wear when you go in. What would Thome do? He was on every team in the league.
Probably Cleveland.
Or Cleveland, yeah.
Because he spent most of his years there.
Yeah. Hey, who did you say they also say is gonna make
Vlad Guerrero.
Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah, those three.
A lot of my fellow voters, gutless weenies that they are, have conceded to this jackass who tries to get everybody's ballot ahead of time. And over 270 of the ballots have been released to that guy already.
Why?
Wow.
I don't know, because they're weenies. I think they want to be, we're so...
We're progressive.
Yeah, we have nothing to hide. Well, neither do the rest of us, but we're going to make you wait till they announce who the winner is.
Yeah.
Wolves in action tonight. They continue their West Coast swing, play Portland. Looks like All-Star Jimmy Butler will probably miss tonight's game again. That word from Coach Tom Thibodeau after this morning's shoot-around. It would be his third straight game missed with a sore knee.
We don't have knee surgery coming up here pretty soon, do we? A little meniscus or something?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I shouldn't say I'm not
That'd
a
be
doctor.
dreadful news.
Starting to get a little nervous here, though. 3 straight games.
Jamal Crawford, who's missed the last 2 games with a sore toe, he may be able to play, according to Thibodeau.
Hey, has anybody shoved a microphone into Perk's face here in the last couple of days?
I tried to get a hold of him yesterday, and he wouldn't come on. So
Did he give you the funny tongue out?
Maybe that.
He sent out a tweet regarding it
He
today.
finally, he admitted it publicly.
Yeah.
I extended an invitation to join the Faribault Lakers, but I didn't get anywhere with that.
News notes from today in Elk River.
Tell him to bring his homemade beer.
That's
when
right.
He comes too.
He can sell it right at Belfield. We don't care.
Right out of the trunk of his car.
Absolutely.
Right off the mound.
I need another trip to the mound.
Perks Pea Green beer.
Oh, it'd be great.
An Elk River woman was sentenced to 3 months in jail and remains on supervised probation for 10 years after she admitted to stealing thousands of dollars from the Elk River Youth Football Association.
That a girl.
46-year-old Jennifer Barr pleaded guilty.
Those little son of a guns don't need shoulder
She buying
pads.
pull tabs, Johnny?
Well, she paid some of her credit card bills, Kenny.
Oh.
Paid her cable bills and utility bills with checks from the
She's responsible then.
Football Association. Barr told investigators she will pay.
She wasn't. She was not a regular attendee of a casino. That's what most of the gals they catch are either Mystic Lake or Treasure Island or Grand Casino.
How many dollars did she spend?
Thousands is all they're saying.
Yeah, charge her interest, make her pay it back.
A jumbled pile of mammoth ice blocks, some shattered into jagged shards, is all that's left of the 20-foot Spicer Ice Castle that had been the focal point of a lighting ceremony and fireworks show on January 20th. It was on Green Lake. Drew hundreds of onlookers.
What hillbilly ran into it with his truck?
No, it's the warm weather that's to blame, Kenny.
What warm weather?
Oh, it's been hot up there.
40.
Well, first of all, it's not up there. Green Lake is about due west,
Spicer. Yeah.
and it hasn't been hot. I thought
40
he was gonna do
degrees, Such.
It was.
40.
Yeah, we had a few days of 40s. The castle.
By golly, it's hot today.
What kind of castle did you build if you couldn't make it past a 40-degree
Yes,
day?
that's right.
Trying to get to that. But
Yeah.
the castle, built January 7th and 8th with about 500 blocks of Green Lake ice, each weighing 600 pounds.
Wow.
Goodness.
Was intended to be the feature through the Spicer Winterfest activities, including the Polar Plunge and the Pond Hockey Tournament this week.
Yeah, we might get some spillover from the Super Bowl. You never know how far they're going to travel. We're outside the circle.
This could be a scene from your favorite TV series, Kenny, the Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, I see this.
They could-
absolutely.
They could be the promoters of the thing, but gave it the guarantee it lasts through 50-degree temperatures.
I want to go with Kenny's theory, though, that some hillbilly ran into it with a truck. I think that makes for a better her story.
Michelle Olson, president of the Spicer Commercial Club, said we had unseasonably warm weather. The structure was unsafe, so they used a backhoe earlier this week to demolish the structure.
They knocked it over themselves.
Well, they should have let a hillbilly run into it.
Yeah, could have saved some money.
The problem started about a week after the castle was built when volunteers were stringing lights inside the structure after a couple of 40-degree days, according to Todd Erickson, a member of the Spicer Commercial Club of Directors.
Did it start sinking?
By the middle of last week, the outer wall of the center tower started to lean forward.
Yeah.
On Friday afternoon, several large blocks toppled to the ground, very close to where people had been taking pictures earlier in the day. The structure was shored up and caution tape and signs placed around it, but they figured out by Monday it was no good. They decided to raise the ice castle out of concern for public safety.
Leaning ice tower of Spicer is what this was.
Such, you ever been sitting in your fish house and the ice cracks right underneath you?
Kenny,
Yeah.
I've never been in a fish house.
Oh, Joe.
Really?
Oh, Joe.
Oh, it gives me anxiety.
I'm with you, Mayor. I don't like it either.
I was in a fish house.
The anxiety part comes from sitting in a fish house. I don't care about the lake cracking.
The ice, when it cracks right underneath you, let me tell you, that wakes you up.
Oh, man.
That's Henry Boucher's great line when he was skating on the river up in War Road. I said, Henry, how'd you learn to skate so fast? He said, you hear that ice crack, you cook off.
Yes.
Apparently, we shouldn't mock the ice castle up there in Spicer, by the way.
We're hearing from the public.
Loyal listener Terry just says, don't mock them. The ice castle that they're building here is built with the ice from the same lake.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're using much smaller blocks. I watched a little story
they
about
are?
them building that. You ought to see how they're cutting these ice blocks out of the lake. It is cool. I would love to be there for that.
I really think it's
really
a waste.
awesome.
I think it's a waste of everybody's time.
Oh, but it's so
What
fun.
are you,
There's
bah humbug?
yes, there's better things to do in life than worry about that.
You know, the only
Save babies or build an ice castle.
Learn how to make an actual Philadelphia cheesesteak instead of one with pork in it.
That's true.
And broccoli.
Yeah, broccoli.
the thing
God
is the only
almighty, I'm
winter
disgusted
carnivals I
with this.
remember are the winter carnivals that had ice castles. Up on what was the lake up
Lake
in
Phelan?
Maplewood? They had
Phelan.
one up there.
Phelan.
And they had one downtown right by
That was the
X.
work of the great Charlie Hall.
Oh my God, they're awesome. They're so cool.
I remember the one when I was going to work on this during the Grande Parade. 2 blocks off the parade route?
Probably.
We were down there on Cedar, 2 blocks away. The next day, the estimate was $125,000, and I parked right in front of the building where the parade was going.
Well, that was Kermit
I
Head.
think Kermit was being a little generous in his estimate of madness.
Who are the Vulcans?
The parade.
The Earth.
He actually asked me that.
In his oil
He had the
stained
grease-stained monkey suit on, like he was going to be changing his oil.
He was under a car.
That's when he stole the coat and wouldn't give it back, too, right?
Yeah, right.
God.
That was the Timberwolves. Well, that was later. That was the Timberwolves
It was
one.
the 6th ring
Charlie
of hell
Frank.
because in the cart was Jesse and Barbara and me.
Oh wow! I would love to see
Barbara,
a
show
photo.
me your tattoo. Let's see your ass. Show him some ass, Barbara.
Flop that right
Show him
cheek
some
out.
ass.
And he was so thrilled to be getting acknowledged by these throngs that he'd lean way out of the carriage and it almost would capsize. So on the other side, holding it back.
like a sailing.
Like
guy.
you're on a sailboat, you're hanging off the edge, leaning way out.
And he saw all the Vulcans, these red guys. Who are the Vulcans?
Hey, who are the guys in red? Who are the Vulcans?
I got to break it to you, fellas. If you're outside of St. Paul, you're always asked. Nobody knows what the hell the deal is with you guys and the Vulcans. Seriously. That's a St. Paul thing.
Oh, you can get them. They're out there.
Show me your tattoo.
All I know is they like to party.
Let's see some ass.
Yeah. You wouldn't laugh if you actually had seen that tape.
I have repressed memories about it.
Unfortunately.
It's terrible.
I think you're right. She was not shy about whipping that cheek out.
It was just this mammoth white thing.
Yeah.
And,
Looked like a crime scene.
What was it a tattoo of?
He has a mouse or something.
No, it wasn't the KSTP logo, I thought. Was that the KSTP logo?
He called it a crepes.
I think it was a.
That was before we became classy.
That's right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Dignified.
Before we dialed it back a bit.
John, are you going to have more for us?
I suppose. I got a lot left. One sort of sports note, not really. The Hartford Whalers, they left Connecticut 20 years ago.
To Carolina.
Their logo now, though, will appear on vehicles gliding down Connecticut's highway. The DMV there unveiled a new commemorative license plate that bears the former hockey team's green and blue insignia.
That is a cool logo.
With the spear, right?
Yeah.
The three-pronged spear.
Mm-hmm. $45 from the sale of each plate, which will cost $60, will go to a new infusion and dialysis center at the Connecticut Children's Medical Center in Hartford. Stafford Springs Representative Kurt Vail, a Republican who worked to pass legislation last year creating the plate, said the strong bipartisan support for the license plate concept indicates how much enthusiasm remains in Connecticut for the team, which became the Carolina Hurricanes in 1997. He credited the work of the team's still active booster club, which first proposed the idea about 2.5 years ago.
The world was a better place.
Microphone.
The world was a better place when we had hockey in Hartford and not Raleigh.
And the building in Raleigh is out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we've got a crash here on the right shoulder of westbound 394 at Winnetka that has traffic just stinking it up all the way back to Theo. It's already about 20 minutes from downtown out to 494.
Good news for this crowd. Swearing makes you happier, healthier, more intelligent, and honest, according to new research.
Royce, you're in luck.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Bleeping right.
Experts claim
You
using
have to swear so much, dude.
What are you talking about?
Experts claim using offensive language shows someone has a larger vocabulary and could be linked with a higher IQ.
We are. Look at. We're all smart.
Also said to be many health benefits to using a naughty word or two.
Not Johnny Hyde. He never said.
I don't swear a lot.
Hear him swear.
Don't.
Johnny,
How
I
dumb
thi-
he is.
He was raised right.
How dumb I am.
Remember how dumb he used
I
to be?
used to be dumb.
Johnny, I think you are full of.
You got to take your hats off to the guys that can put the F word in the middle of other words.
Oh, it's an art
I
form.
really respect those guys. Yeah.
In all honesty, I don't swear much, but like Kenny said, I have great admiration for people who do it well.
Like incredible. You can put it right in the middle of incredible.
Exactly.
Well,
Yes.
That's believed.
you really have to be careful when you do that.
Yes, you
and
do.
study
Very
what you're
careful.
doing.
It's believed swearing increases circulation and releases endorphins, making you feel happier.
God.
It
I
also
didn't have my hand on the bleep, so be careful.
The research also suggests that those who swore more often were less likely to lie and have higher levels of integrity. Psychologist Richard Stevens claims his research proves swearing can increase tolerance to pain.
I'm all in favor of this, but I think they're making some leaps here as far as the benefits of cussing.
He said students who repeated a swear word were able to keep their hand in a bucket of ice water longer than those who didn't.
Damn right.
That sounds like BS.
He told the BBC as well as the pain tolerance change, participants also showed an increase in heart rate. When you swear, your heart rate goes up even more, which suggests an emotional response to the swearing itself. This response is the stress fight or flight response, and it works as an analgesic.
Okay, I'm on your side. I think they've gone a little too far.
How you doing there, dude?
Not too good, man.
One of those days, huh?
Yeah.
A wiser fellow than myself once said, sometimes you eat the bar, and sometimes the bar, well, he eats you.
That some kind of Eastern thing?
Far from it. I like your style, dude.
I dig your style too, man. Got a whole cowboy thing going.
There's just one thing, dude.
What's that?
You have to use so many cuss words.
What are you talking about?
Have it your way.
What are you, a park ranger?
Not
Is that some kind of Eastern?
Not a bad scene.
No, not a bad line.
Not
Not
a
a
bad
bad
scene
word.
in the movie.
No.
Some kind of Eastern thing.
The perfect
Like
comedy,
your style, too, man.
he
They got
didn't-
that cowboy thing going.
He didn't ad lib at all. That was all written for him, word for
You know what
word.
he said, though, about the Fargo guys, or the Coens? He said, did they follow me around in high school?
Here's why I love these guys, and they've made some clunkers lately.
Yep.
But No Country for Old Men.
Ooh, nasty.
Best ever of its genre.
It's pretty good.
Not a bad scene in that movie, and not a bad scene in The Big Lebowski. Not a bad
What's
moment.
the movie with the 3 escaped felons based on one of Homer's
Brother,
Odyssey?
Where Are You?
Yeah, I
That's
really
pretty
enjoyed
dang
that
good.
one. And I liked Serious Man. I liked that depressing movie. It made me actually feel good.
Too Jewish for a boy from Murray County. I didn't get half the jokes.
The owner of a $300,000 Ferrari is suing Marriott International, saying a hotel valet gave his keys to a young man who was trying to impress a woman he had just met. Tampa Bay Times.
Yeah, the Ferrari, that's mine.
Tampa Bay Times says 73-year-old attorney James Skip Fowler parked his yellow 458 Italia Spider outside the Vinoy Renaissance Resort and Golf Club last July 27th while attending a lawyers' convention in St. Petersburg. There, the 2014 Ferrari remained for more than 12 hours until 28-year-old Levi Miles showed up. Miles said he told the woman it was his, demanded the keys, telling the valet that the ticket was in the car and he'd bring it back. Of course, he never brought the ticket back. The two just sat in the car for quite a while, according to the police report. Eventually, the valet said he stopped paying attention after he figured he wasn't getting a tip. Miles then drove off with Clory Rimmer in the passenger seat until an officer stopped him for driving without taillights. The police report noted the driver had difficulty handling the car, also found drugs in the car, cocaine, and the gal had marijuana in her purse. Miles told several stories, and then he said he had just met Rimmer, and she asked if the Ferrari was his, and he thought he'd tell her yes to impress
Is
her.
Rimmer a given name or a nickname?
That's her name.
You brought her.
Yeah.
Hey, Such, would you if you had one of those vehicles, would you drive her down to the St. Clair broiler and
No.
have a hamburger?
Nope.
I think I'd have a hard time handing the keys over.
Me too.
Well, I just was having a thought here.
Oh, boy.
Let's hear it.
Was it Slim Pickens who said to Hedley Lamar, let's kill the firstborn male child?
I think that
And
was
then
the Harvey Corbin character, wasn't
And
it?
no, they said that to Hedley Lamar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and
you're
then
right.
Hedley Lamar said too Jewish.
too
right?
Jewish.
Too Jewish. Yeah, right. That's been stuck in my head ever since, and I hate that. I'd like to get it out of there because I don't want to have that thought, you know. But Serious Man was too Jewish.
Was that the one where the kid thinks he's a folk singer?
No,
He goes to Chicago.
No,
What am
this
I
one was
thinking?
actually based in St. Louis
brutal.
Park.
That was unwatchable.
Which one am I thinking
The
of?
folk singer one. I made 10 minutes of that one. That was a clunker.
It was a guy's name, I think, wasn't it? The title of the movie?
Yeah,
The
something like
fellow's
that.
name.
It was brutal.
Apparently, the guy who played Barney the dinosaur throughout the 90s on PBS's Barney and Friends
Yeah.
has been running a tantric massage business since 2004.
In costume?
That, according to the Daily Mail, promises to unite his clients' mind, body, and spirit through massage and sex.
Right on.
54-year-old David Joyner told Vice he has about 30 female clients. Charges about $350 for
You see,
4-hour sessions.
Winky Tink keeled over too. One of the Teletubbies, 53
Really?
years old. He froze to death outside.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Hypothermia.
I think it's Winky Tink.
Winky Tink.
You love me.
Who's this? Is this the sex guy?
Pay attention to the hand that's not naughty.
Big hug and a kiss from me to you.
Don't worry, Barney is done too.
Joyner played the character from 1991 to 2001.
That'll get us off the air.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to church tonight, Matthew.
Yeah.
That's the end.
This is your home for sports talk.
Really?
1500 ESPN.
Well, you better find out because that'll set the bar for the next time.
I'll find out.
What do you have coming up?
I
Steve
have
Russian.
Steve Russian, who is the star attraction at the Nativity Stag on Friday night. Also the author of Stingray Afternoons, a memoir of his years in Bloomington, Minnesota, and he did a terrific piece after the Vikings' miracle win on how happy his relatives were back in Minnesota. And I'll get an update on what the relatives think now after last Sunday's beatdown. And also Steve Marsh, the author of the Sid feature in Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine. I'm going to talk to him.
It's like a 20-page piece.
I know, it's huge. He spent months working on it.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. And Herm Edwards.
All right.
So we're loaded. We're full.
1500 ESPN is KSTP, St. Paul, Minneapolis. It's 25 degrees. The Ride with Royce is coming up next.
Does picking an outfit have you running a little too fashionably late? We get it. Great taste takes time. That's why Drizzly, the #1 app for alcohol delivery, has your back with the largest selection of beer, wine, and spirits, delivered in under 60 minutes. Convenience never goes out of style. So if you need to spend some extra time in the mirror instead of at the store, download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today.